Hey everyone, welcome to Module 2, How to Pick Your Flipping Market. In this module, we're going to cover how you should actually pick where you should invest. So this is one of those pieces that so many other educators don't teach you. And I think it's one of the most important ones because you want to know where you should invest, right? There's this idea that the other educators, when they're in your market trying to sell you a program, they're going to tell you that, hey, your market's the best one to be in. It's a sales tool. It's a sales tactic for them. At the big seminars, they'll typically say things like, you should just go invest where other people are investing. Wouldn't you want to know why other people are investing in certain markets? I think that's the most important thing. And I want to show you guys how to pick your market by looking at the numbers. So it's funny. One of the other things that when you're at these first seminars or these first little market events, they tell you, go pick your power team. And they say, go find some realtors, find some contractors, find a real estate attorney, find title agents. And you don't even know if you should be flipping houses in that market. That's just busy work. Let's do the real work, the groundwork, to make sure you're in the right spots. It's just one of those things that boggles the mind. So you don't want to just invest where other people are successful or look to be successful, because it's not a complete system. You don't know why they're doing it. They might get 1 out of 3 houses that they actually make money on. It's not a good method. You don't know their numbers. You don't know all the ways that they're doing their deals. Let's show you guys how to do it for real. So how I pick my markets. I want to be in a market where there's plenty of people. Now, I won't invest in a market that has less than 100,000 people. I actually prefer 1 million people or more in a metro area. Think like Los Angeles, not small town, rural Wisconsin. If you can't pick out the town on the map, you probably don't want to do your investing there. So 100,000 people minimum, million is better. It's better because there's more people there. You have more potential buyers, more potential houses to buy. So 1 million people or more. That's my first indicator of what market I want to be in. And then I like to do my investing somewhere where I have a connection to. If it's my local market, that's awesome. It's easier to do your investing in a local market. That's somewhere you can drive to easily, within an hour. So if you live in a small town, 5,000-10,000 people, there's markets that are going to be near you that are going to be just a hour car ride away, and that's going to be your local major market. That's the one you want to look at first. But if you really don't want to do something in your local market, or you find that the numbers don't work out for your local market, you want to take a look at somewhere you have a connection to. And that's going to be, the connection can be anything. It's your favorite sports team is from there. You grew up there. You have your wife's family came from there. Whatever the case is, if you have a connection to a different market area, you're going to be more willing to put in the work and put in the time and the effort to make this business happen. If you're just going to pick a Baltimore, Maryland, because you heard so-and-so is doing really good there, that you have no connection to it, it's going to be harder for you to put in the time and put in the energy and the effort that's needed. And it definitely has to be somewhere where the numbers work. So let's talk about the numbers. Now, going forward, your market choice, where you're picking where you want to actually do this business, that's the only spot where emotion is going to be involved. There's no emotion moving forward in this business. It's all about the numbers. The deals work or they don't work. The market's good or it's not. We don't do anything based on feelings or hopes. We work on numbers. That's how you're successful in this business, because we work off of the numbers. The numbers have to work, no emotions. You can fall in love with the numbers, but it's the numbers. So, hang on, I'm going to grab a cup of my tea here. So what are the numbers? The first numbers that we use to analyze a market, it's called an absorption study, or we're determining the absorption rate. Basically, we're determining how much inventory of houses there are in the market to make sure that it's a good market for you to be in, meaning it's not oversupplied. We want to be in markets that are sellers markets, markets where you go in there and you know your house is going to sell and sell fast. So an absorption study. And now the way that works, and this is how the experts do it. This is how I do. I run these numbers every month in every market I'm in. So I want to keep track of what my market's doing, so I know if there is a market shift, I'm ready for it. And there's a couple different steps here. So step one, you want to get the total number of single-family homes listed in the MLS of your chosen market. So if you're choosing Milwaukee, now Milwaukee is a big metro area, so you have your realtors send you the total number of single-family homes listed in the MLS. Now it's important to note single-family homes. It's not condos and townhouses and apartment buildings, all that thrown in there. It's just single-family homes, because that's the barometer that you can really test a market on. The step two is to get the total number of single-family homes sold in the past 30 days of your chosen market. So first, we find out the number of listings, then the number of sales, and then simply step three, we divide the total number of listings by the total number of sales, and that's how many months of supply you have in your market. So for just a quick example, if we have 12,420 active listings, 4,350 sales in the past 30 days, that equates to, when you divide it, 2.855 months of available inventory. That's a good number. Now, we'll get more into that here, but let's first talk about where do you actually get these numbers from? So you know the numbers you need. How many active listings, how many sales in the last 30 days. Where do you get the numbers from? Realtors. Realtors have access to the MLS, the multiple listing service, and that's the database that's going to have all this information. Now, with realtors, you don't just need to call up Joe or Jane, realtor down the road. The way I like to do it, and this is a method that really works for me in every market across the country that I've been in. So Zillow. Zillow.com is a great resource for this. Tons of agents on there, and they're on there because they want more business typically. So step one, we go to Zillow.com, click on the Agent Finder button. It's at the top toolbar. We type in the city name. So here's it just real quick. So this is the Zillow's homepage. Up at the top there, you can see the Agent Finder button. Click on that guy. Type in your city name, and we're going to throw in Milwaukee here. And you're going to get, boom, a bunch of agents come up. Now, there's something to know about Zillow and other realtor websites, ones where there's realtors listed. Now, if you look at the top here, we see featured agents, Chris and Michael and Judy. They're featured agents because they paid the most for their advertising. Now, if they're paying a lot for their advertising, they probably don't have the time or the want to deal with random phone calls or emails from people asking for market stats. We're not going to even bother talking to them, sending them any messages. And even the first people here, we got Chris and Susan. Chris again, right? He's a featured agent, but he's also the first one listed. These are not the agents we want. They're probably great agents. I don't know them. I haven't called them. I'm not going to. So what I do, I actually scroll down to the bottom of the page, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 25, next. I click on the last page. That's where I start. Because these are agents, when we jump to page 25 here, these are going to be agents that still want business. They're still advertising. They're still doing something to try to get business, but they probably don't have enough. But they also are going to have more time to deal with you and answer your questions. So again, featured agents, I still don't click on those guys at the top. They're still paying for it no matter what page they're on. And another thing about contacting agents, I don't like to contact teams or partners or groups. Or here at the top, we have Vesta Real Estate Advisors. I want to know who I'm contacting. Remember in module 1, we talked about your real estate story. We want to go to a personal level with the people that we're contacting. It's an easier way for them to do things for you if they know who you are. But you also need to know who they are. You don't want to be passed around from person to person to person on a team. You want a direct contact. So I get to page 25, and I just start looking at if they're active agents, and also look at how recent their review is. The first guy, Jack, his review was from 2015. Karen, 2013. That's pretty old. Stephanie, review on the right side, bottom right there, 10/2016. That's pretty recent. So now notice, I'm not even spending the time to read the review. If there's a review up there, it's probably going to be good. So in hers, I will be working with her on all my future real estate dealings in Milwaukee. Great. That sounds like the kind of agent we want. Click on Stephanie's page. And look, easy. We don't have to call her. We don't have to cold call her. Nobody likes doing cold calls. They're not fun for the person getting the call. They're not fun for the person making the call. You're going to stumble over your words. It's going to be awkward for the both of you. You're going to trade phone calls sometimes. What I like to do is I just fill out my name, phone, email, and I put a little message in there to Stephanie. And I let her know, actually, the message I send to my realtors. So in that little message box, I read your reviews, whether I did or not. I read your reviews, and you seem like you are the type of agent I need. If you work with investors, I'd love to ask you a couple quick questions that shouldn't take more than a few minutes of your time. If you can help me with this, please call or email me back. Now, what did we do there? The first thing we did is we complimented them. Who doesn't love a good compliment? I read your reviews, and you seem like you are the type of agent I need. Right? You're letting them know you need an agent. You're just going to take a couple minutes of their time. If you can help me with this, please call or email me back. If they have a few minutes to spend, they're going to get a hold of you. Whether they call or email, doesn't matter. I prefer emails. It's just faster. Now, instead of cold calling realtors, which, like I said, nobody likes to do, you can send out 10 or 20 of these messages to other realtors and the time it would take to call one of them. It's more efficient. And in this business, the more efficient you are, the more successful you will be. So when I get them on the phone, I usually have to tell them my real estate story. That's why we did that in module 1. So you know what you're going to say to them. And you have to make sure that you're not going to just focus on your past. You want to talk about your future with that agent, but always direct it with purpose to what you want out of that agent at that time. And for this agent, when they contact you, you want the answers to our 3 questions. And those questions, how many single-family home active listings are there in the entire MLS currently? If you guys are taking notes right now, don't worry. These scripts are going to be at the bottom of this video. So you just have to click on it, and they're going to be there for you. So how many single-family home active listings are in your entire MLS? That's question number 1. 2, how many single-family homes sold in the last 30 days in your entire MLS? Now, again, I'm reiterating single-family homes. And 3, what is the average days on market of those single-family homes sold in the past 30 days in the entire MLS? This is how we get those numbers. Now, I don't just get these numbers from one realtor. I want to have the responses to these questions from at least 3 realtors. And you don't want the realtors to send you 12,000 listings or 4,000 sales, where it should bring us the data sheet for each of these houses. All you want is the simple number. That's all we're looking for in this. We're trying to make it real easy for them. A good realtor who knows how to work their MLS, their multiple listing service, will know that this will take 5-10 minutes most for them to do the research and send you the answers. And this is how you determine if you want to jump into this market. So you tell them, listen, I heard your market was a good one for real estate investing. I'm looking to expand my business, and I just need the answers to these 3 questions. Can I email them to you? So let's talk about what this actually means, what the months of inventory supply, what it actually means. So 1 month or less, that's a hyper market. That's great. We don't have a lot of hypermarkets anymore. Think 2005, 2006 time period when houses were just flying off the shelves. There was no inventory. Prices were skyrocketing across the country. That was a hyper market. Now, you're starting to probably thinking to yourself, well, if I'm going into these markets where it's hard to get houses, how am I going to find anything to flip? Don't worry, we're going to cover that. But the main thing is knowing that the houses you do buy are going to sell fast and they're going to be wanted and desirable. So 1 month or less is a hypermarket, and that's great. 4 months or less of inventory is good. That's what most of the markets I'm in are currently. 4 months or less. It's a hot market. It's a seller's market. The seller has control. If there's 4 months of total inventory in the market, you probably realistically have 2 months or less of actual available inventory that people can buy. Because of that 4 months, you're going to have people that are just testing the waters. They've got their house on the market listed at $400,000 when it's really only worth $350,000. You're going to have houses that are short sales and REOs. You're going to have multi-million-dollar houses in that mix. So 4 months or less, that's what you're looking for. If it's in 1 month or less, awesome, but 4 months or less. Now, when we get into 4 to 6 months of inventory, that's a stable market. It's a healthy market. Houses take a little bit longer to sell, and the buyers in those markets can be a little more picky. They can ask for more closing costs. They can come back to your house in a week or two and see if they really want it. They can sleep on it. They can think about it. It just takes longer. And we know that the longer you have a house, the more carrying costs, the more expenses you have, and your profits go down. Time goes up, profit goes down. 6 months of inventory or more, stay away. I don't care how juicy the numbers look. If you're just starting out in this business, stay away. I do not invest in markets that have more than 6 months of inventory. It's just not smart investing. You're speculating. It's a buyer's market. The buyers are calling the shots. They're going to come in. You're going to have your house listed at $300,000, but there's going to be a lot of other houses out there. So they know they don't have to pay $300,000. They might start an offer at $250,000 or $240,000, asking for closing costs. It's not worth it. It's going to be harder to sell a house. Takes longer. Stay away from markets with 6 months of inventory or more. So again, 1 month or less, hypermarket, awesome. It's great. Do those. 4 months or less, again, that's the most of the markets I'm in right now. 4 months or less, those are seller's market. Those are great. 4 to 6 months, be very cautious about those. It's a stable market. Days are longer. Costs add up. 6 months, stay away. 6 months of inventory or more, stay away. So days on market, the other number we're asking the realtors. We ask for the amount of listings, the amount of sales, and the days on market. What does that really mean? So the days on market is the amount of time a house is on the market before it actually accepts an offer, before the seller accepts an offer. You want to be in markets that have 60 days or fewer. It's a seller's market. It's where you get to call the shots. If the average days on market is 60 days or fewer, your remodeled house, which is above average, is going to sell a lot faster, typically within 30 days, if not within the first week or two. So 60 days or fewer, that's what you want to see in your market area. 61 to 90 days, we're back to that stable market territory. Things are taking a little bit longer. Costs are adding up. Pick your buyers. It's okay, but be cautious. More than 90 days, stay away. You do not want all those carrying costs, especially if you're getting hard money loans. All of that adds up. So 90 days or more, stay away. So your market is important. It's your next step after your real estate story to figure out where you should be flipping houses. Again, I like markets that have a minimum of 100,000 people, if not 1 million or more. More buyers, more sellers, more houses, more opportunity. The month's supply should be 4 months or less, not more than 6. Never go into months of 6 or more for your markets. Days on market, under 60 days. And this is the average days on market of all the houses that have sold in the last 30 days. Under 60 days is what you want to see on that, not more than 90. This is about safety. And safety means I'm going to sell my house fast. And one of the issues that a lot of new investors have is that they get really excited. They get excited about a lot of markets. So they're looking at Milwaukee and Chicago and St. Louis and Dallas and Baltimore and Los Angeles. Oh, and they heard somebody's doing really good in Miami. So they start spending time looking at all these markets. Don't spread yourself too thin. You're not going to have the time to take care of what you need to do. You're not going to be responsive to the people that you start connecting with. These realtors, they're going to disappear after you don't contact them after you get those numbers. It's going to be too much work. Pick 1-2 markets at most, and then just go from there. And these market stats, like I said, every month you want to run these market stats. The reason why so many people got hurt between 2006, 7, 8, 9 is because they were not paying attention to what the market was. They were believing the hype machine that the realtors are. Keep buying. Well, it's going to turn around. If you looked at the numbers, the inventory levels kept climbing and climbing and climbing. Days on market kept climbing. Those were not markets you wanted to be in. But they didn't just shoot up there. It took time. They slowly went up. And then it started escalating. If you're tracking your market every month, you will see when the market goes from 2.7 months to 3.2 to 4.1. Oh, you're over 4 months. You got to start thinking, maybe I shouldn't buy anything right now. Maybe I should just focus on selling my stuff and just, keep my feelers out there. But maybe I should look at another market and see what's going on over there. Spend your time wisely. Invest safely. Do this business safely. Find your markets. If you don't do this, and I don't know, again, why so many people don't teach this, you're going to get caught. And again, 2006, 7, 8, 9, so many people could have avoided their losses. I bought my last house in July of 2005. So I track my markets. You need to do it too. So guys, get a hold of realtors, get on Zillow, find out these 3 numbers, look at the spreadsheets underneath, look at the scripts underneath this video, and get to it. Pick your markets, and I'll see you in Module 3.